Welcome, everybody, to this episode of WWDBTV's Meet the Candidate. See, that's what we do here. This is what we've been trying to do here at WWDBTV is provide a platform for anyone who is running for any office, regardless of your political affiliation, a little time in front of the camera to educate the voter as to what they're running for and why the voter should vote for them. We do not charge for this. This is a free service, and it's important to us that the voter get educated. So if you know someone who is running for an office, please have them contact us, and we'd be happy to get them on. And today we have Miss Augusta Massey, and you are currently an attorney. You have your own law firm.
Yes.
And you are running for the Justice Court District 6 judge. Is that correct?
That is correct. Las Vegas Justice Court, Department 6.
My first and obvious question is, what made you want to run to be a judge?
Okay, thank you so much. That's a question I get all the time. But first, I just want to say thank you so much for having me on today. As much as this is about trying to get to know me, I want to put myself out there so voters can make an informed decision when they go to the ballots this year. So I was born in Nigeria. And my dad was killed in front of me, and so we, decided to go away from that trauma, leave the past behind, and come to America and start all over again. Unfortunately, within a few months of being here, my 12-year-old brother was killed by a drunk driver. So he was 12. That morning he got in an award, most improved student, and it was just so good to see him shine and be acknowledged. And so I went to work because I was waiting tables to put myself through college at the time, and I get this call from a friend who was at the restaurant, and she's like, look at the television screen. And I'm looking, and I see my mother and I see my sister, and they're in the middle of the road, and I'm wondering what's going on. And it was my brother. My brother I had just seen a couple of hours earlier, motionless. And so I rushed home only to be told he was in a hospital. We get to the hospital, and he just never regained consciousness. So this lady was drinking at about 2 o'clock in the afternoon, driving down a school zone. Children were coming out of middle school, going home. And she hit my brother and his friends 8 to 9 feet in the air. His best friend died on the spot. My brother Edgar died in the hospital a couple of days later. And so the last time I got to see him was him being at least happy and alive. And so for me, that changed the trajectory of my life. At that point, I was studying, like I said, going in college for engineering. And I left that and I went to study law because my introduction into the legal system was my brother's case, having to go through the DUI system and the criminal system. At the same time, being an immigrant and going through immigration, which is federal. And then we had the audacity to sue the government because we felt someone needed to be held accountable. I always talk about consequences, right? There are consequences to the actions that we do. And there were no sidewalks, there were no speed bumps, nothing that we felt could have prevented her from moving so fast to hit my brother and kill him.
And this was in a school zone?
It was in a school zone.
Okay.
That, there are signs that tell you this is a school zone, but we just felt there were additional things that could have been done. And so we sued and we won. Right now, there are sidewalks there. There are multiple speed bumps. And it helps not just, it's one thing when you say something, actions back it up and you reinforce that. And so we just wanted to prevent another senseless death, another death of another 12-year-old, another middle schooler. And so my baptism into legal was all of these things going all at once. And imagine coming from a different country, trying to adjust to a new way of life, and then when you get into the court system, it's like Greek in there.
Yes.
You don't know who the parties are, how it moves, what the judge does, what the laws mean, that sort of thing.
And how old were you at this time?
I was in college, so about 18, 19, thereabout. And so it was really perplexing. And I wanted to make sure that no other family went through that without understanding, or at least having someone on the other side who has walked in those shoes. So I went and became an attorney. And that is something I bring to all my clients. One of the things they will tell you mostly about Augusta is I spend a lot of time educating, because I didn't have that education when I went through the system. And a lot of us don't know. I mean, no one wakes up one day and says, hey, it's a great idea. Let's go to court.
Right.
I have nothing better to do today.
Not normally by choice, right?
Right. Let's just go to court. I want to learn Greek, I want to hear what they're saying. So educating my clients has been really huge. And with my campaign I'm running, I'm trying to focus really on education, because I think an informed voter, an educated voter is the best voter. They understand why they're making the choices they make and who they're voting for. I tell people all the time, you might never see your governor, you might never see your mayor, but there's a high probability you will stand in front of a judge, right?
I have said that, and the sad part of the reality, and one of the reasons that we do this show, is that a lot of people don't get that far down on the ballot. They vote for president, they vote for the governor, they vote for senators, but when it comes to the city council, their judges, sheriffs, these are people that affect our daily lives more so than the federal level. And it's more important for us to vote for those people and know who we're voting for.
Absolutely.
I've had the opportunity or misfortune to be in front of a couple of judges for some traffic citations. And I was, one in particular, I was very, very impressed. I was probably the 10th or 15th person to come up before the judge, and so I got a chance to see all these people before me. I was impressed with how she treated every single individual in front of her, regardless of what their offense was, with the same respect and dignity. And I thought that she was firm but fair, and I was just really impressed. And when I got up in front of her and got my punishment meted out, I walked out of that courtroom feeling really good.
Absolutely.
Because I thought, I mean, we go in there, and it's not something that we get to do every day.
No.
It's something that, some of us never experience that.
Absolutely.
And I think that most of what you see on television isn't really indicative of what goes on. But I want to ask you this question, because as an attorney, I'm sure you can relate to this, and as a candidate for judge, I'm hoping that this is important to you. I have heard from a number of attorneys that the thing that irritates them most about a judge is one who is not prepared, who has not gone over or read the material or whatever is presented to them, and they said that is the hardest job, to go before a judge who's not prepared, and you have to educate them in the facts of the case. So is that something that you think, do you think that's true?
I do, and why it irritates a lot, maybe I shouldn't speak for all attorneys, but why I would think it irritates attorneys, because I have the same feelings, would be, you're dealing with human beings. Your client, this is all their world to them. As an attorney, you maybe have several cases. As a judge, you have several cases. But for that client, this is it for them. And so treating them with that fairness and dignity is reading the facts of the case. It's understanding the issues that are presented in front of you and this human being who is in front of you. And so when an attorney takes time to prepare documents that you don't read, it's a disservice to the client, it's a disservice to the court, and you are not doing justice. It is unfair. You're not treating people with dignity, and I think that is what irritates attorneys about it, because it's part of your job to understand the matters and the issues and the facts before you, so then you can make a decision. How do you make a decision if you don't even know why we're here? And that's
if you don't know all the facts of the case. And which brings up another point, and that is that you are given a certain amount of discretion. And this was talked about. The reason I'm asking this question has been talked about the last couple of days in the Supreme Court hearings, and there are parameters that for this crime, this punishment should be from here to here.
That's right.
And that's a recommendation. That's not a mandate. So you have the discretion to look at the particular facts of the case
Absolutely.
and say, okay, yes, this is what's recommended, but I see this, you know, and this is this determining factor in you making your decision. I would not want to be a judge. I would, and I'm serious. I think that this is probably one of the most difficult jobs out there.
Yes.
And I know that sounds kind of weird and stupid to some people, but you are making decisions that are going to affect people's lives, maybe for the rest of their lives. And so I don't know, maybe I'm too soft-hearted and just, you know, I mean, I'm not going to let criminals get away with anything,
Right.
but it's like, yeah, I know this is what I should be ruling, and if I do that, this person's going to spend the rest of their life in jail, or you know, I don't know in the justice court. I don't know that
Yeah.
you're going to get that kind of cases,
No.
but and why don't you tell us what are the type of cases that you will have to deal with as part of the justice court system in District 6?
Okay, perfect. I'll answer it and I'll circle back to you.
Yeah, please.
To your
Yeah, please
first
do.
comment. So, in justice court, what you're dealing with mostly is if you drive on the road, like you know John just mentioned, if you drive on the road, traffic tickets. So those do come to the court. Civil cases, usually under a certain amount, 10,000, 15,000 thereabouts. It's not your high multi-million-dollar cases, but it's significant enough that it affects people. 10,000, 15, that's a lot of money.
Yeah.
And then all criminal cases rather go through the system, justice court, misdemeanors mostly. And then even felonies, those still have to start with the justice court and then work their way up into district court. And so to answer your initial question, and also a question or a comment, is justice court is the people's court. This is where you go where you sue that girlfriend who never gave you the ring back after the engagement, and you broke up, and she's like, "I'm keeping the ring," and you're like, "No, I want it back."
How did you know that? No, I'm teasing.
This is where you go and you sue that friend who was supposed to give you money back that you loaned her, $1,000 or $1,500 to help her pay rent, and she never gave you that money back. So this is really a people's court where people come and seek justice. And excuse me, for a judge, it's a hard job, but I feel like we have guidance in the law. That's what the law is to help guide you through that. But when it comes to discretion, this is why you need a judge who is compassionate, a judge who is committed, a judge who has the mind of community, who understands the real effects of the decisions that he or she is making. And so I often, say you want a judge who has not just practiced in court, but has actually represented clients, who understands what that conversation is, like when a judge gives a decision, what that conversation is with that client after. How do you explain to a client, like, this is what the judge did and why the judge did it? So I've walked those shoes. I've also been on the other side where I have been a client, where I've had to go in and trusted someone else, an attorney, to represent me in front of a judge. So having walked in those shoes, it helps me to see the totality of the circumstances when I have discretion. And so you want someone who knows that your being here today in court, right, might mean that you don't get the entire money you're supposed to get for work, because now you've missed a couple of hours to
Sure.
be there, which now means that maybe you're short on rent, which now means maybe you're not able to afford daycare, or you can't make it to court because you don't have childcare. So you want someone who's been through those things, who's represented clients who've had to make those real life choices, and not say, hey, we are just gonna give you the maximum sentence, and the punishment has to fit the crime. But when you have discretion, you definitely want to look at the totality of the circumstances, at the totality of the human being, the choices they made, the things that led them there. But the law is always your guide at the end of the day. So it's a tough job, but it's one that I want and one that I'm prepared for.
Good. Correct me if I'm wrong, but isn't it a requirement that you must have 5 years as an attorney before you can be on the bench?
Absolutely. So you have
Is
to
there a
have 5 years.
requirement that you have to have presented cases in court or appeared in court? I mean, could you be an attorney for 5 years and never have gone to court and still sit on the bench?
Absolutely.
Oh, wow.
It happens all the time, and that's why I think for this particular Supreme Court confirmation, people are excited that, hey, we're finally going to have someone who's represented clients,
Yeah.
who's actually tried cases, who's actually gone to court. So yes, it does happen, and a majority of our Supreme Court just never just never. And so now we have someone who's actually represented clients, tried cases, going to court, and I think that's where you see this groundswell of support and excitement about someone who's bringing real life experience to the Supreme Court, our highest court in the land.
And you have 2 children in school well, do you not?
I do. I have.
Do you want to give a shout out to them?
Hi, Kairos. Hi, Kaiser. So I have a 9-year-old and a 7-year-old, and like I tell people, I'm a mom first, a candidate second. Today, funny story, we forgot our backpack, so we have to go deliver backpacks to school after this is done. But they're my pride and joy, and to see them right now get so excited. My son is great at canvassing, believe it or not. I see a future campaign manager there.
They're old enough to understand exactly what's going on, right?
They do, and he'll walk up to you and be like, "Hey, sir, my mom is running for a judge. Will you vote for my mom?" And he's so precious when he does.
And he's how old?
He's 7.
Oh, wow.
He is 7, and
how can you refuse a 7-year-old
right.
kid? Vote for my mom.
Like, vote for my mom, and he's so sweet about it. Before, he used to tell me he wanted to be an artist and a clown, a cake artist and a clown. So he wanted to have like like those little bars, and he was gonna walk on it and jump into a cake. So that was what he wanted to be when he grew up. Now he wants to be a judge. So I'm slowly changing his mind, and this is why I'm running too, to leave a legacy for my children, to leave a legacy for other people who might think this is unattainable, to be able to say yes, you can, and you can do this, and you should do this, because we need good people on the bench.
That you will not get any argument from me. Why justice court? Why not family court? Why not district court? Did you pick justice court specifically?
I did.
Okay.
I did. And I've been asked that question because there is a district court opening, and I like the people's court.
Okay.
I like people. I understand people. I have walked in the shoes of a lot of the people who appear before me. And for the last 6 years, I have been a judge pro temp in small claims court, which is very similar to what we're doing in justice court. So I'm very familiar with the issues that will come before me. I'm familiar with the litigants who will come before me. And a lot of them don't have an attorney with them. They don't have an attorney representing them. They're representing themselves. So to be able to not necessarily like guide them or educate them, but to understand where they're coming from. I know the issues, I'm familiar with it, my personal experience, my professional experience. I came here in the middle of the recession, so I've walked that journey. I raised my hands immediately and said, hey, I wanted to be a foreclosure mediator to help with the housing crisis we had, in 2008. I've practiced in bankruptcy court. I know what it is when you make decisions or things happen to you that you have to start over just to get a fresh start. I recently, with the pandemic, I also raised my hand again and said, hey, I wanted to be a mediator for the eviction hearing. So hearing cases of people who were affected by the pandemic, now facing housing crisis, we have a housing shortage, helping and walking through those issues and those systems. These are things that come in front of justice court. So I picked this court not for prestige, not for name and glory and stuff, but because I really truly want to serve. If you look me up, it's not bragging, Google me, please feel free. You'll see the work that I have done over the last decade. Your
journey's been amazing, because
yeah.
I did, in fact, before you came on, I wanted to see who I was going to be talking to,
yeah.
And I was pretty impressed. And it's not easy to impress me, right? No, all kidding aside, I was very impressed.
Thank you.
Coming to this country, and to be able to have accomplished what you have accomplished just this far, and I can't wait to see where you're going to go from here. I mean, I can just see some great things for you. So.
Oh, thank you, John. I appreciate that.
No worries. So when you, when you get elected and you're sitting on the bench, what do you dread most about being a judge? What do you think is going to be the hardest part?
I think the hardest part will be having to recuse myself from cases involving family or friends. Like, I know you, Bill. I know you, John. Why
So
are you here?
if I get called up, I'm going to have to say,
I'm
hey, sorry, you can't help me.
I can't really help it. So I think that's gonna be hard because again, that gene to want to help people.
Right.
But I believe in protecting the integrity of our system. I believe that for not just the appearance of impropriety, I want to stay away from that. So if it's gonna look like this person, we have a closing up relationship, I will want to back away from hearing that kind of case, and I think that's going to be hard for me.
Well, because I can understand that, because if they are your family or friends, you of course want to help them.
Of course.
And you of course, maybe how best to help them.
Right.
But you have to keep your mouth shut and sit down and just mind your business, right?
And I think that's what a good judge should do. So,
Yes.
And even if I know I can be fair, I know I can be impartial, but the appearance.
And that's it. Just the appearance of conflict of interest
That's
or
right.
impropriety, and so I understand that.
Yes.
So, what are you looking forward to most? What are you excited most about?
I'm
sitting on the
excited
bench?
about the first case. I'm excited to hear, all right, it's Augusta Massey presiding, and let's call the first case on the docket and really just get to work. I am really excited to get into the court system, see how we can make it more accessible, see how maybe we can do some of these hearings remotely, see how we can, incorporate mental health and things like that into our court system, because a lot of people are going through it.
Yes.
And being able to incorporate that, and just so many specialty courts, veterans courts, drug courts, again, it's just such a fertile ground for someone who likes to serve and help, and I'm looking forward to that.
Can we take a step back? You mentioned that you are a judge pro tem.
Yes.
Could you explain to the voters what exactly is a judge pro tem? What does that mean?
Okay, so a judge pro temp is like for lack of a better term, like a substitute judge, a part-time judge. So when a full-time a judge who's on the bench cannot serve, we're called upon to step in and assist. So we wear the robe, we do the whole thing, we get name tag. So I'm familiar with the court system.
Gotcha.
I've actually had to make decisions. I've done that for the last 6 years. So this is not new to me, but this will be a full-time job where this is what I get to do day in and day out, and that excites me.
Cool.
Yeah.
So what does your husband think about this?
My husband thinks I'm nuts. It's like, who wants just like you? He's like, that's a hard job. Who wants a hard job like that? But hey, I just tell people, I'm a public servant, not a politician. Some people are called. We don't choose this. I feel like with the death of my brother and what happened, this chose me. And so I do this to honor him. I run to honor him. I run to honor what he stood for, and hopefully bring that same passion and that love and that commitment to our courtroom.
Cool. So we're kind of getting short on time here, and I know that you've got other things that you got a backpack you got to drop off.
It's a different backpack.
So is there anything that you want people to know about you? What's the one thing that's most important that you want people to know, and why they should elect you?
Okay, so it's not just one thing, it's a lot of things.
Then
I am compassionate.
please, let's hear 'em all.
I'm compassionate, I'm committed, I love our Las Vegas community, and this will be an opportunity of a lifetime to serve you. This is really about you and the person who will be listening to your cases. You want to make sure that they have the heart of the community. And so I say stay classy, vote Massey. If you're not already classy, be classy and vote Massey. So thank you so much. And you can find out more about me on my website, www.augusta4nevada.com. You can find me on Facebook, Instagram. You can Google me. I will pop up at some point. I just love the opportunity to be able to be your judge and serve you and bring justice to Las Vegas. So I tell people I may not be battle born, but I'm battle forged and ready to deliver justice to Las Vegas. So stay classy, vote Massey. Thank you.
Excellent.
Thank you.
Thank you all for watching. And as I said, if you know anyone who is running for office, please have them contact us here at WWDBTV.com. They can email us at John, that's John, at WWDBTV.com. Augusta, thank you. This has been so
No,
refreshing.
thank you.
I appreciate you coming in and taking the time, and I'm very pleased to have met you.
Same here. Thank you so much, Jeff.
You're quite welcome. Hey, get out there, vote all the way down the ballot.
Yes.
Get educated, know who you're voting for, because these people affect your life every single day. Thank you.